Hi, I'm Eric Linask. We're here at our Editors' Days in Santa Clara. With me now from CloudGenix is Kumar Ramachandran. Kumar, great to have you with us.
Likewise.
So maybe a good place to start is there's been a significant amount of conversation around SD-WAN lately. It's starting to become a pretty hot topic.
That's right.
Wondering why that is.
So the key property of SD-WAN is the ability to replace traditional models of networking and routing with a newer model that allows customer to deploy heterogeneous wide area network connectivity options to their remote office. So what that does is provide a very clear ROI, or return on investment, to the customer. So while it has all the other properties of SDN, which is agility, simplification, etc., there's also very crisp and clear ROI. The other big trend that we're seeing really is that people moving to the cloud, the more customers adopt cloud-based applications, SaaS-based applications, the need for a solution like CloudGenix just becomes apparent to the customer. So we're seeing a lot of drivers from customers as they look to refresh their routers, as they look to adopt cloud-based applications, and frankly, as they look to simplify how the remote office network is built.
So what does SD-WAN mean for existing infrastructure?
Yeah, so I can talk about the CloudGenix approach. So what CloudGenix does, right? We truly transform how that remote office network is built. We replace the need for all the routing protocols with the CloudGenix application-defined fabric. At the same time, what we're very conscious of is the fact that customers have existing deployments out there.
Sure.
So the way we layer the solution is we allow the customer two deployment options. One, you can layer us in behind your existing infrastructure. And the way our model works is that even if the worst case for a customer, as they're absorbing a new technology, is that the network behaves the way it currently does, but when CloudGenix is up and running, we take over the network and we're providing all the benefits of our SD-WAN solution. And whenever the customer is comfortable, he or she has tested out the solution, they can then retire the existing infrastructure and just have CloudGenix standing there.
How does that differ than other players in the market?
Right. From what we see really is that it differs in two or three big ways. Step one, we're the only vendor out there who is able to replace the need for routing protocols with an application-defined fabric. The approach taken by other vendors is that the legacy router is a bad router for the new use case. They're going to fix that router. What we're saying is that we can actually end the need for that router and really provide this application-defined fabric that allows you to deploy heterogeneous forms of connectivity and be able to go to the cloud, whether it's Office 365, whether it's Box, whether it's AWS, Azure. You can bring all those into your remote office in conjunction with your data center, right? So to do that, what CloudGenix does is rather than operate at the packets and bits and bytes level, we up-level the conversation and the management interface for the customer. The customer comes in, specifies an application policy which directs the system. What is the application SLA you're driving to? What is the performance requirement? What's the security requirement? What's the compliance requirement? So I'll give you an example. One of our customers, Columbia Sportswear, what they're doing is this. They're at their retail stores. They have credit card applications which are critical to the functioning of the business, as you can imagine.
Sure.
So they specify that there's a high priority application, high priority SLA application. Second, it has this and other applications have security requirements, need to be chained through virtualized instances of firewalls. And third, your credit card application needs to be a separate segment by itself, differently encrypted, zoned out, even when running over the internet, right? And deliver that PCI compliance. So what we're able to do for them is take that policy and build the network on a heterogeneous fabric grounds up.
Any latest news that you want to update us on?
Absolutely. We're one of the few vendors who also help the customer with a true transition from hardware to software, right? So when you look at our model, at the remote office, the customer can deploy a virtualized piece of software, or they can choose to, either they can buy their own server, or they can buy the server from us as a combined appliance. What that allows us to do really is deliver some really interesting integration. So one of the solutions we put out recently at VMworld in San Francisco is really a solution along with VMware NSX and with Palo Alto Networks. So what we do is this. We take the micro-segmentation approach that VMware has for the data center, where let's say you're a healthcare provider and you have HIPAA-compliant traffic needing to go across multiple zones. In the data center, you might set up a policy which says that when you cross segment boundaries, be routed through a virtualized instance of a Palo Alto firewall. But it stops at the edge of the data center. Now, a lot of the breaches are happening at the edge, at the hospital, right? So what we do is we extend that concept of micro-segmentation all the way to the remote office. So now your HIPAA-compliant traffic is not just on its own zone. If that traffic crosses boundaries, even at the remote office, it's going to be routed through a virtualized instance of the firewall, right? This allows the customer to do two things. One, I don't have to worry about the underlying form of connectivity because I know my traffic is secure, even if it's the internet. And two, in my remote office, I don't need hardware. I can now move to a full software model, which dramatically lowers my capex of the solution. So in other news, we also announced bringing onto the board as advisors Martin Casado. He heads up, he's general manager, SVP for VMware's networking business unit. We also brought on board Hans Robertson, one of the founders of Meraki, that was acquired by Cisco some time ago.
Right.
And then we also announced our Series B funding, where we brought in Enrique Salem from Bain Capital as our board member as part of that round of funding. So lots of exciting news from the CloudGenix front.
You know, that's certainly very exciting. What are your expectations then, given the additions to the board and the new round of funding, looking ahead into the future? What what are your objectives?
Right. So, in fact, the reason we raised the funding and we brought some of these people onto the board really is that because we're seeing this huge demand from customers, right? The traction with customers and the kinds of use cases that customers want to use us for continues to increase very dramatically. So we're really looking to accelerate how we serve our customers in a global manner.
Excellent. Well, Kumar, thank you so much for joining us. It's been a pleasure having you here.
Thank you very much.